screen is not there.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we share with you all the updates about the markets and the latest trade that we are seeing on the street right now. Well, it is the final trading session as we speak, and halfway down we are looking at a flattish momentum on the benchmarks, the Sensex and the Nifty. We did see a higher start, and that was on the back of positive cues that we got from across the globe, including the US and the Asian markets. But as we speak right now, you're looking at an 18,206 as the current level for the Nifty. That's up about 0.08%. Absolutely flat with a positive bias for that one. Look at the Sensex as well. It's trading at 61,214, up by 80 odd points in today's trading session. In terms of the other sectors, as far as the Nifty is concerned, you do have a lot of sectors that are trading in the positive zone, including led by gains in the metals pack that's been shining bright by over 1%. PSU banks continue their upward run from yesterday's trading session as well, up by over 1% again. 1% uptick for the realty pack that has been in fact a disappointing one through this year, but there is some last session buying that you're looking at in this index as well. What's not really contributing to the gains in today's trading session? Well, there's some losses being seen on the pharma index. There's about a 0.5% decline for that one. The FMCG stocks are sulking too, 0.3% down in trade. The private banks not contributing to the overall gains in the banking space. In fact, the Nifty Bank has now slipped into the red. It's about 0.3% down in trade, 43,126. That's the level at which it is trading at, down by 125 odd points for that one. And it's the private banks and the financial services which are absolutely flat that are not really contributing to the gains. In terms of the advance decline ratio, you have 21 advances to 29 declines in today's trading session. In terms of the gainers on the Nifty today, you do have Bajaj Twins at the top of the charts on the final day of trade, 3% uptick for that one. ONGC, Hindalco, Bajaj Auto, the other winners at this moment. On the losing side, you do have SBI Life looking at a profit booking of sorts in today's trading action. 1.5% down for that one. Eicher Motors, after the news flow, again down by 1.3%. Cipla is also seeing some cuts of over 1%. ICICI Bank and Bharti Airtel, the other losers at this point in time. But time now to welcome our guest for the day. Kranti Batini joins in. He's the Director of Research at WealthMills Securities. Welcome, Kranti, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. It indeed is a very special session because it is the final trading session of 2022. The year that's gone by, it's been a complete roller coaster ride. We did see everything that could have perhaps gone wrong has gone wrong, but the markets have emerged winners. They are settling into the green even as we speak. But for you specifically, how would you really sum up the entire market movement in 2022?
Absolutely, Sakshi. As you rightly told, it's a roller coaster ride for the year 2022. And what we witnessed is nearly $35 billion of capital outflows, the foreign portfolio investors withdrawn from Indian markets during this year. But despite of this fact, Indian markets proven that it's time and again, it's a resilient market. And it's good to note we are closing the year on a positive note. Nifty is closing above 18,200 level at this moment. And what we witnessed, if we drill down the data further, Sakshi, during the year, Nifty came down nearly 5 times below the 18,000 levels. And during June, in the month of June 2022, Nifty, in fact, went nearer to the level of 16,500 due to the geopolitical issues and other reasons. But despite of that, market is closing on a positive note. And what we witnessed is a liquidity tightening measures taken by the Federal Reserve, and the amount of liquidity that has been withdrawn from the system. Despite of all these facts, market shown its resilience. What we witnessed today is last couple of days back also, market came down, Nifty came down below 18,000 levels, but we are ending the year on a positive note above 18,000 levels. So it's more about a stock specific action during the year, and Indian markets are resilient.
Absolutely, the markets are resilient, but in terms of the stock specific action as well, like you pointed out, that largely it's been about the winners this whole year. Those stocks that have outperformed despite the overall volatility, despite the overall macroeconomic concerns that the markets had to maneuver. Which stock, according to you, was the stock of the year, in your opinion? And, where you really were surprised by the moves on the upside and you had not imagined those kind of moves?
In the large cap space, Sakshi, uh, the less covered stock, and despite everybody expresses their concerns about the valuations, it is Adani Enterprises. Uh, Valuations looks very stretch, and people expresses their doubts on the stock, but despite of the fact, stock went into Nifty, and the stock delivered more than 100% return during the year. So the stock of the year, if I have to mention in the large cap segment, is Adani Enterprises. Can be the stock of the year, in my view. Despite of concerns comes from here and there, uh, uh, concerns on the valuations, but stock is closing at 100%. The stock delivered 100% returns during the year.
Absolutely. The stock of the year is up by 1.3%. As per Kranti, he believes Adani Enterprises is clear winner right there. Even as we speak right now, 38.55 is the level at which Adani Enterprises is trading at. Clearly, this entire year-to-date performance, if you see, it's 125% up. So massive wealth creation from this one and from the other group stocks as well. The entire group has turned out to be a wealth creator of stocks. But was there any disappointment as well, like in terms of any stock performance that you had not expected, or any sector if that turned out to be a big disappointment this year?
The insurance sector is not participated, Sakshi, during the year, and the big boy, everybody have a lot of euphoria with respect to the listing of Life Insurance Corporation, and it had a muted listing, and the stock really disappointed the investors during the year. There is, to mention, even the new age stocks like the digital stocks like Paytm and Nikas of the world, and all the new age stocks, because of the high valuations, they started, and also the global Nasdaq correction also impacted the stocks performance. Really disappointment performance in terms of returns for these new age digital stocks are concerned during the year 2022.
Absolutely. Also, was there any dark horse that you pointed out, and you saw that there was absolutely no expectation from a particular stock, and that stock really performed? I have one in my mind. I don't know if you have the same stock in your mind too.
Couple of stocks. There are many dark horses during the year, and for every quarter there are dark horses during this year. So just to mention, the public sector banks have been the dark horses for many in the market. Stocks like UCO Bank and all, they started outperforming during the year, and also stock like Mazgam Dockyard, which is from a defense space. The stock has delivered humongous returns during the year as a dark horse with very less expectations during the year, but stock tend to deliver one of the best returns during the year from the defense space.
What about ITC? I had that stock in mind. I mean, to my mind, that was a dark horse and that performed very well. What do you have to say about that?
ITC, for me, it's not a dark horse, Sakshi ji. It is a,
Okay.
for me, okay, it is one of the growth stock, and it delivered a good returns, handsome returns to the investors during the year. In fact, there is a lot of investor euphoria that came on ITC. Uh,
Yeah.
the stock tend to deliver mid-teen returns going ahead also. Uh, it's a good stock for the long-term investors.
Right. So, Kranti, what according to you is the most promising candidate in terms of sector and in terms of stock as we step into 2023? Which is the most promising candidate according to you, and that investors should keep on their radar now?
Uh, Sakshi ji, if we observe the sectoral trends, the new age sector right now, what I can see is, of course, it is a very old sector, one need to mention, but a lot of changes and a lot of developments are happening in defense sector is concerned. Defense has emerged as one of the key sector, and majority of the stocks which are there in the defense sector, they delivered handsome returns during the year uh, 2022. So defense can be a sector to watch in the 2023, and also we have a complete negative returns coming from IT. IT was disappointed many of the investors in the from starting from the second quarter. So despite of uh, investors worries and the global recessionary worries, IT can be a sector one can watch uh, during 2023. We cannot ignore IT. Uh, Despite of the concerns, the valuations looks attractive to the investors right now. So IT can be as a sector one need to keep on their radar, and also defense as a sector one need to keep. And the large cap stocks are concerned, one need to keep on their radar stocks like L&T for 2023. They
Mm-hmm.
also have exposure to defense, and also one can't ignore the big boy Reliance Industries as we enter into 2023.
Okay. All right, Kranti, lots of stocks also buzzing in today's trade. So let's come to those as well. A lot of news developments right there too. Let's first talk about, Lotus and Reliance Industries taken it. So Reliance is going to be buying this 51% stake in Lotus Chocolate. The stock is hit at an upper circuit after this. There's a 74 crore rupees offer. Reliance Retail would also be looking at another 26% in an open offer too. So how do you look at this development? We do know that Reliance Retail has been on a shopping spree, acquisition spree. What does it really, mean for the group as a whole, conglomerate as a whole, and for shareholders and investors? And for Lotus Chocolate, what would you really recommend for all those investors who have the stock in their portfolios?
Uh, they can probably just watch for the ride, because the stock has been hitting the upper circuit right now. No seller in the stocks most of the time. Uh, Uh, but one thing, what's if you see the saga of Reliance acquired stocks, after the acquisition process get completes, whatever be the stocks Reliance acquired during the year, uh, there is a muted performance that is coming out of stocks once the acquisition get complete. That means the entire sector euphoria is getting priced into that specific stocks. We need to see how Reliance is going to consolidate all these associate companies where Reliance have been on shopping sphere from quite a long time.
Hmm.
So my what I advocate is, once this initial euphoria get over, there the stocks are giving a flattish kind of returns. So
Hmm.
one can, during the euphoria time only, one can book their profits and and exit these kind of counters, and wait for the valuations to correct for this particular stocks. With respect to Reliance Industries is concerned, at any dip, okay, with the new developments that are taking place, new corporate action that are taking place, one can always keep the stock on the radar and try to accumulate Reliance Industries at every dip.
Okay, understood that. Kranti, you were pointing out that how you were disappointed with the insurance pact not really participating in this entire year. But in today's trading session, there are far and few between stocks that are actually showing smart moves. General Insurance Corporation of India, for example, it's up by about 11% odd. The New India Assurance Company, that's up by about 11.5, 12% odd as well. Do you see any promise here now with these moves, and what is really leading to these sharp up moves in some of these stocks?
So actually, what the both the stocks what you mentioned is, they're coming from a PSU insurance sector. The stocks, these particularly the PSU stock insurance sector is concerned, they have been witnessing a catch-up rally from past few days and few weeks because of the momentum in the PSU stocks are concerned. But
Mm-hmm.
the space for the long-term investors are concerned, it's more about the public sector insurance companies, how these companies are going to perform, because in these companies, the more about the investment flavor that comes from the foreign portfolio investors, as there has been a nearly more than $35 billion of money outflow what we witnessed during the year. So some kind of disappointment was there with respect to the private life insurance companies are concerned. So there is a mixed blend, but for the investors who are in a long-term horizon, definitely they can keep these stocks on their radar for accumulating for the long-term portfolio is concerned. But
Hmm.
public sector insurance stocks are concerned, as you mentioned. This is because of the rally in the PSU stocks. That's the reason these stocks are participating right now.
Okay, understood that. I'll just comment on the primary market space and the newly listed space as well. We did see K Fintech making a flat debut. Now, Alien Electronics has made a flat debut on the bourses. It just listed at a 2% discount in today's trading action. And there's the last IPO of 2022 that is open for subscription for investors today, and that is our Polymers IPO that's already subscribed about 14% in the first 2 hours of trade. QIB portion is nil. The NII portion is 7%. Retail portion is subscribed 65%, and overall there's a 14% subscription right there. From this primary market space, the newly listed stocks, anything that interests you that you would want investors can keep on their radar too?
Currently, with respect to the new stocks are concerned, uh, one need to think okay about what are the valuations of these stocks, because last few days the market was in a very choppy. That's the reason that kind of some kind of impact was there on the these newly listed IPO stocks. One need to wait and see how the next few quarterly results for these companies, because most of these companies performance is getting fizzled out once the results are out for these stocks. So I am not completely keen to pursue any kind of serious investments with respect to the newly listed stocks are concerned. One need to wait for the earning season of these companies, and to make any serious investments, one need to think about how the quarterly results for these companies after the post listing is concerned. That is the crux one need to keep on their mind. But in the recently listed stocks, the stocks that might interest me is Sula Wines. I'm
Okay.
just waiting for the results to come. How the initial results that comes from the company post listing. That's the stock which I can be watching for the uh, recent listings are concerned.
Absolutely, Kranti. Well, just the stock that everybody is looking for, perhaps on the New Year's Eve as well as we approach that Sula Wines. But Kranti, just to end the show before I let you go, towards the New Year's, and what are the key lessons that you have picked up from the markets from this entire year 2022 that investors should also learn from, and as we approach this new dawn, new era, new year as well, we should imbibe all those lessons and perhaps better approach the markets so that we can protect our capital in the stock markets and the investments as well.
Actually, at the beginning of 2022, the most hated market in the world uh, uh, was Turkish market. Okay, today as we are coming to the end of the year, the Turkish market have delivered 85% returns during this year in the emerging market space. And most loud market in the global emerging market space was Vietnamese stock market.
Yes.
And the stock indices, as we coming to the end of 2022, the stock indices of Vietnam index is came down nearly 45% during the year. So the most discussed and favorite stocks are favorite countries are sectors need to be checked by the investors before taking the initial exuberance how it's going to be turned out. And despite of all these reasons, Indian market was quite beginning of the year. Despite of all the emerging markets and geopolitical events that took place during the year, we are closing on a positive note in the emerging market space is concerned. And
Right.
one should not too much panic about the markets, and also sometimes aggressive buying is needed. Sometimes aggressive buying need to be avoided for the investors.
Absolutely, but you pointed out Turkey and Vietnam. Vietnam also has seen a sharp GDP uptick in their economy as well, and the sharpest growth that they've seen since 1997. Both Turkey and Vietnam, for example, perhaps were the hottest spots for travel as well in this entire year. Everybody was traveling to either Turkey or Vietnam at some point in time. Became a very popular destination for the Indians as well to travel to this year. So perhaps the key is travel. So India should be the next tourism destination, and we can definitely see Indian markets soaring high in the future as well. And with that, thank you very much, Kranti, for being with us on this last edition of 2022 of Market Today in the afternoon trade as well, and markets at lunch. Many thanks for joining us, and here's wishing you, your family, and your entire team at WealthMills Securities. A fabulous new year. May it be a profitable one, a very healthy one, and may all the investors also enjoy the ride as we go along. Many thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, Sakshi.
All right, and with that, let's look at the markets. How are they trading at this point in time? Just about 2.5 hours to go before we shut shop for this year, 2022. The markets are holding up into the green, 0.1% up as far as both the Nifty and the Sensex is concerned. 32 points up for the Nifty, 18,225. Looks like we may be ending the year at 18,200 and above that, 61,264 as the current level for the Sensex as well. But do stay tuned on to Business Today TV to catch all the updates from the world of business and stock markets continuing as we wind down this year 2022 as well. Many thanks for tuning in onto this edition.